What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. It is me, Trash Salsa, and today we're going to be doing the top 5 best muscle cars and Burnout Legends. So out of the whole muscle series, which I have all the cars, what are the best? What are the best cars? You know, I want to do a race or I want to do a road rage. What do I take? You know, do I go by what car I think looks the most cool? Do I go by something else? You know, is the cop car the best because it's a cop car? Let's talk about it. So I just went through and I just drove all the cars and I just wrote some stuff down. And I made a quick top 5. Now, believe it or not, there's a lot of really good cars in here. So it's hard. I could have done like a top 7 if I wanted to. But, you know, I'm going to make a top 5 because that's what the norm is. And at the number 5 spot, which everyone's going to be glad to see, we have the Assassin. I wanted to rank this one higher, but for some reason it seemed like the other ones in my, you know, like the number 4, 3, and 2, whatever, they're all better. But this car is just pretty good. The handling is so good. And you get this car early on. You don't have to do a face-off. You don't have to do anything stupid. It just, you have it. It's really good for road rage. And that's one of the few cars that actually wrote that down. You know, I just did the compact best and worst, and none of them I wrote road rage down, but this car is the only one so far I wrote down road rage as a pro, because this one just it just knocks people out of the park. It is a very good handling car. It looks cool, sounds cool, you know, and you're like, well, what about the Type 2? Well, the Type 2 is the same thing, but slightly worse. You know, the only difference is the acceleration. This one goes a little bit faster, and the recovery speed is pretty good, like if you crash. But, you know, that's all I have to really say about that one. For the number 4 spot, so what could be better than the Assassin? Now, everyone's probably going to be like, they're going to roll their eyes. But the Collector one, of course. This one's actually about the same as the Assassin. Like, almost everything's the same. Except it's not as good as Road Rage. But the acceleration is a lot better, because this one's brother is the Dominator, which is pretty cool. So this car has the same genetics, and that's why this one gets pretty cool characteristics. So for that reason, it's a little bit better than the Assassin. It looks cool, you know, that adds to it. Of course, looks and style are just my opinion. I don't count that because that would be stupid. If like, well, that car's ugly, but this car is super cool. No, that's not how it works. I'm going by performance. I'm going by handling, drifting, boost acceleration, regular acceleration, you know, and definitely this one's a good car. Now, the next one, number 3, is going to shock a lot of people, and I really hate this car, but the Classic Legend, and I hate this ugly trash. I really can't stand this car, but you know what? I was going to put it on the top 5 worst, and I went to test it out, and it blew my mind. The handling is amazing. The handling is almost as good as the Dominator, if you can believe it. And everything's so good, except the drifting and the traction are so bad. And I'm going to show you that in a second. But other than that, it's good acceleration. Oh yeah, and it's super loud. Acceleration is pretty good. You can hear it's gearing up pretty fast. Again, acceleration's pretty good, but look at the handling. Hold on. It's a little slidey, but look at that. That is laser fast response. That is, wow. I was shocked. I was like, oh, this is a piece of crap. But no, and the drifting isn't too bad. If you can control it, the drifting's not bad. But if you don't control it, like right there, see how my car kind of slides around. Because the handling is so good, it's almost too good. And it causes the car to slide. And sometimes you can't stop the drift. Like, see, I'm just sliding everywhere sometimes. Which can be really annoying if you're on, like, Harbor Town or something, where there's a lot of those little edges and invisible walls on the rails and stuff. Like, you might drift and you might hit the wall on accident, and that could be a problem. Or you might run into traffic. Like, here's a drift, and I'm having, you know, it's alright. But, I mean, the handling is so much better, and the acceleration is about the same as the Collector 1. So, because the handling is better than the Collector 1, I have to make it number 3. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And another really weird thing is this car goes up to 175. So, I don't know why, but this car, for some reason, is about the same as the Dominator, if not a little bit faster than the Dominator. I don't know why this car goes to 175. I don't know if they broke that or that's not supposed to be like that, but because it goes to 175 as the top speed, I have to, that was another really good point. I almost forgot about that, so I'm glad I boosted. Boost acceleration's alright as well, so that's a pretty good car. Just the drifting can be a little irritating. I know you couldn't tell on video, but when I tested it, I kept sliding into the walls and crashing. But other than that, believe it or not, it's actually pretty good. So, which is shocking. So, that is that. So now the number 2 spot. And no, it is not the Dominator. The Collector 4. Now you're probably thinking, wow, how? This car is actually not that bad. Now, I don't ever drive the Tuned or the Collector 4 or the DX, if you want to use Burnout 3 terms. There's nothing against this car. I think it looks pretty cool. I just don't drive it. I love the Dominator so much, and some other cars, whatever, that I don't really care about this one. Like, this one just kind of goes over my head. But this one's really not bad at all. The Classic Legend is pretty good, but I feel like this car is a lot better with handling. It's a lot more renowned. You know, sounds cool. I mean, I always kind of thought of this car as like some sort of relative of the Dominator because the body is the same, and I believe this and the Dominator were supposed to be modeled after the same car. They're supposed to be, both of these are supposed to be a Dodge Viper. So technically this one's like a cousin to the Dominator. And in that sense, again, it gets the same genetics because the handling doesn't look as good, but you got to keep in mind the Classic Legend was kind of disproportionate. You know, you want good drifting, good handling, like you want everything to be kind of good. Whereas the Classic Legend, it was kind of disproportionate, and the handling was kind of like too good, and then it would cause you to slide around too much and have bad drifting. But this car, the handling isn't as laser responsive as the Classic Legends. You're probably like, what, isn't that worse? No, because the handling is still really good. I mean, look at that drift. The drifting is a lot more controllable. I don't slide out of control. The handling is good enough to the point where, I mean, how good do you need handling to be? You know, it works. It handles really well. You know, if I need to turn or avoid the car or something, I can do that. You know, like, oh, there's a bus, move over, boom. You know, I don't have to worry about stuff like the Gangster Legend in the Compact Series, where the handling is so bad. But, I mean, this one's just all around a good car. The acceleration's pretty good. Boost acceleration is laser immediate. I mean, I don't know if you saw that. It was right up to 165. So, yeah, and for some reason, like I said, the Classic Legend goes to 175. I believe that even the Dominator doesn't even go that high. I believe they broke that, because the Dominator is always supposed to be the fastest one in each series. So I'm not sure who messed that one up, but I don't know. So that is the number 2 car. So now, what is the best muscle car? You already probably know. A lot of people already probably know. The best muscle car in Burnout Legends, which I argue is probably one of the top 10 best cars in Burnout Legends, is the Dominator. I mean, this is just... These other muscle cars, they cannot compete with the Dominator. And like I said, the Classic Legend, it has a top speed of 175 because of some unknown reason. And this one, I think, goes to either that or 170. Who cares? The acceleration and the handling, I mean, the boost acceleration and just the regular, it's so fast. Like, this thing just has get up and go. You know, like, you go, it does exactly what you want it to do whenever. And it's really good at road rage. That's another key here. This and the Assassin are really good at road rage, and I've gotten 100+ takedowns with this car before. more than once. Like, more than once. I think I actually got 200 takedowns once, believe it or not, on my PSP, if I remember correctly. So, this car is, yes, it's just an amazing car. It sounds cool, it looks cool, the acceleration is impeccable. I mean, it's an amazing car all the way around. The handling is amazing. Look at that. The handling is a little bit better than the Collector 4. It's not as good as the Classic Legend, but again, the handling isn't too good. It's probably as best as the handling can get for these muscle cars. And then the boost acceleration, boom. I mean, right there. I mean, no question asked. It goes right there. The drifting is amazing, but it's not too much where you slide out of control. In this car, I don't think I ever slid out of control. Unless I was on Harbor Town and there was one of those weird turns. I mean, this thing is just crazy. And for, like I said, for road rage is really good too. The Classic Legend is not bad for road rage, but unless you like hit someone from behind, it doesn't even do anything. Whereas this, I mean, I just barely touched someone and they're, you know, sayonara. But this thing is just so well created. You know, the reason why you're like, oh, who cares? All the supercars are better. It's like, yeah, but this is the muscle series. I mean, from compact to super, it goes worst to best. You know, the compacts are supposed to be slow and dim-witted and stupid. And then the supercars are supposed to be really good handling, fast and crazy. Because it adds to the, you know, difficulty. These fast cars make it harder for the person to control, but you get good handling as a return, you know? And this car, for the muscle series, I mean, the response time is like a supercar, if not better than most of the supercars. I mean, it's again, it's almost like someone just had fun with this car and like, let's make the handling really good. Let's make this really good. Like, that car has almost no cons. You know, and again, the Classic Legend has a higher top speed. It doesn't matter. All the muscle cars max out at 165. You know, and the Dominator maxes out at 170, so it's already faster than some of the other ones. And the Classic Legend, the difference is between that is the Dominator has better road rage stuff. The acceleration kills the Classic Legend by miles. You know, it's whatever. Unless the person in front of you has a Classic Legend and they're boosting, you know, you're not going to catch up to them if they're boosting because the 175. But other than that, I mean, when's that going to happen? Especially on a turn or something. They're going to have to slow down anyway. So top speed shouldn't even... That's why it's not even really a factor. But it's good, you know, something worth mentioning. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, I will see you guys in the next one.